Tachahao
And
and apa
apa khabar?
khabar semua? We've been changing a lot of sets.
I don't know anymore,
right?
man.
The whole
It's
reason,
whatever.
right?
It's the
It is
whatever show.
Actually,
It's the whatever show. But
I mean-
today specifically, I think it's gonna be a bit gaming heavy because there's been a lot of news.
It has been news heavy,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
with the whole Helldivers
My God.
shebang, and
Yeah.
a lot of studios being closed, not by choice,
Yep.
but the whole setup today. We have this camera, and
Yeah, we have this
Hi.
one.
we have this one too.
This is on me.
This is on.
That's on
you.
us.
Sup, guys?
And this one?
That's on me. That's me. That's me. Right. So we are back with the Epic Arcade podcast, and on this week's episode, we're going to do something that we haven't done in a while, which is Afiq. We are going to bring in more gaming news because, like you said,
Yeah.
it is news heavy this
It
time
is.
around. There are a
It is.
lot of things going on, and unfortunately, my WhatsApp is still not loading.
Uh-oh.
So that's annoying.
Yeah.
so
You're
after
gonna have
the
to be
break-
like me then. Just
Man,
have it on your
actually-
phone.
I actually don't like this setup. I mean, I can do this lah, but
Yeah.
I can do this, but it's still. I have a whole screen here,
Yeah.
which
Take
is
what you can get, man.
yeah.
We take
it's-
what we can get.
Basically, it's a wasted space lah, right? So, on this episode itself, we will be talking about Helldivers and all the amazing gaming news. I mean, not really amazing gaming news, but gaming news nevertheless.
Yeah. More, I would say more shocking
Mm-hmm.
than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the HD2 thing. We'll get into that first, I think.
So all of that after the break. So Helldivers, it's been when was the last time you actually played Helldivers? Because I remember you mentioning you deleted it and then you reinstalled it again.
Yeah. And I uninstalled it again.
Okay. How?
The last time I played Helldivers, probably when did I start? When did I start Remnant? That's the question. Remember?
I would say about like
played-
3 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, about
It
about 3 weeks
Feels
ago.
longer than that. Has it been actually? You know what? No, I started Destiny 3 weeks ago. It
Okay.
feels like I've played it forever, but I know it's only been 3
Oh,
weeks.
Remnant.
Yeah,
Remnant.
Remnant.
I think about
Like a month and a half
A month
ago.
and a half ago. Yeah, about that.
Yeah, so probably the last time I played Helldivers was a month and a half ago.
Okay.
But how I know it's been 3 weeks of Destiny is because the Grandmaster,
Okay.
like the Grandmaster Nightfalls or whatever, is like on a weekly rotation. So I've only gone through 3 different types.
Right.
So
okay.
it's, I know
So
3 weeks.
so it's, I'm assuming it's one rotation a week then.
Yeah, so it's 1 week. It's Tuesday to the next Tuesday.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but Helldivers, the last time I played Helldivers was possibly a month and a half ago. And that was, I'm sure it wasn't with you.
yeah, definitely not.
'Cause
With
that
me.
was a
It's
point in
probably
time-
with Fuzz and
Fear.
Fear. Yeah. Fear.
Yeah. Because I think that was a point in time where you kind of backed off gaming a little bit.
Yeah.
You had like other stuff to focus on.
I was playing Frostpunk and then I was playing
Yeah.
Mandalords.
Yeah.
I'm putting a pause on Mandalords for a while because I kind of like completed the first
with,
instant of the
with
game.
where it's at,
Yeah.
where the game's at right
Yeah.
now, you've kind of done everything
Yeah.
that you can.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
know the fundamentals and I also know the basics of the game. If I were
Right.
to jump in again, it's probably just gonna watch like a quick refresher.
Right. So do you think
because-
the next time you jump in is when they do like a major update?
Looking at, I mean, on the last episode itself, we talked about how they earn like what $30 million in a week's time. Looking at how much money he has actually made, again in the last episode I mentioned, I hope he has actually put in or reinvested some of the funds into
Yeah.
other developers to push out the game as soon as possible.
Yep.
Right? And speaking about Helldivers too, Fik, have you been following the news itself?
I have. I've heard. I've researched a little bit. It's a bit of a conundrum they found themselves in.
Mm-hmm.
Although eventually they found a way out, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Depends on how you look at it.
it
But
took one entire weekend, which was
Yeah.
last Saturday and Sunday.
Can you
So,
imagine the stress.
dude, can you imagine the
for-
conversations over the weekend, like in the group chat of let's just say Sony, for
Bro,
example. Guys, what the fuck? Guys, what the fuck?
Guys.
Guys, what the fuck? I think we fucked up, man. Right? I think we fucked up.
The conversations between what's that guy's name? The head of the company who developed it.
Arrowhead,
Yeah, the head of Arrowhead, who has been quite
head of
the head of
Arrowhead,
Arrowhead.
okay.
The Arrowhead.
the Arrowhead head.
He's, to be fair, he's been very vocal and very involved in the community on X especially, right? So I can't imagine like the conversations he would have had to have with Sony executives. Because I'm sure they struck a deal somehow to allow for the PSN thing. And I know, like, we're jumping a little bit here, right? But, like, I know that they probably needed the PSN thing for, I think you mentioned security reasons and all that, right? But, you know, there's a part of me that feels like there are other Sony games that don't require that.
I mean, okay, just for everyone out of the loop,
Yeah.
right, on the whole Helldivers conundrum
Yeah.
is that
Yeah,
long
that's
story
better.
short.
Let's start there. Yeah.
Long story short, the game came out 2 months ago,
Yeah.
and it was
2
a
months?
raving, about 2 months.
Why do I feel like my sense of time is... Because I feel like it's
No,
been out for like 4 or 5
There's
months.
a syndrome, okay? There's a self-coined syndrome for this.
Right.
It's called the work from home syndrome, where you
Okay.
literally lose track of time.
Yeah.
Last week feels like last month.
Yeah, exactly.
Yesterday feels like last week, right?
Exactly.
And there's a lot of things that you do because we work from home, right? And we have the luxury
Yeah.
of working from home. But the downside
Yeah.
sometimes is that you get so engrossed in your own little space
Yeah.
that you're just like,
Yeah.
hey, when was the last time we makan chicken rice?
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Bro, was it 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Was it like last week?
Yeah. It's also like, because for people who work in an office, right?
Mhm.
Like, they don't have to go to the office on the weekends.
Yep.
So there's a clear distinction between those 2
Yeah.
days and the
Yeah.
and the rest of the 5 days of the week, right? But for us, like for you and I who work from home, it's like the weekdays you work from home, yeah. But in the weekends you're also home.
Yeah.
So
it's like,
when is
what's
it really
what?
the weekend? When
Right?
is it really weekdays? You know? Yeah, so I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
2 months ago.
the game came out 2 months ago, and it was a raving success, right?
Yeah.
Like Elden Ring,
Yeah.
for example, when it came
Yeah.
off, it's straight away overwhelming positive reviews.
Yeah.
Everyone on Steam loved it for a good week. No one could just shut up about it, to the point that
TikTok, it owned TikTok,
Yeah,
bro.
right.
Helldivers owned
it's
TikTok.
basically to the point that if you're not playing Helldivers there like 2 months ago,
The
it's
fuck
like,
is wrong with you?
"Bro, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" Right?
The fuck is wrong with you, bro?
And I feel like to a certain extent, it also creates like this peer pressure / FOMO for those who are like just
Yeah.
sitting on the bylines
Yeah.
and be
Well,
like,
I jumped in because of FOMO.
right? And you had fun.
Yeah,
You had
and I
fun.
did have fun.
It's such a casual. I mean, I wouldn't call it casual. It's quite intense,
It
but
is.
it's
It's not
casual
casual.
intense.
Yeah.
It's casual intense.
Yeah.
To the point that when you jump in, you feel like you're actually doing your part for democracy, but at the
You
same time,
do.
you're also having so much fun,
It's the numbers.
right? It's
Like
it's
the
that
percentage.
0.0003%.
I don't know if you feel the same way, but when I play Helldivers, right, and when it's done, and I find out like it was already at 100%, I feel like it's time wasted. I feel like I could have done it in a place that wasn't 100% yet.
it was also to the point that there are some major orders that comes out, right? And they're like, I remember 2 weeks ago when I was playing again, the major order came out and it's like, we have to collectively kill two or
Yeah, I remember
3
that.
trillion
Yeah, I remember that.
bugs. And it got done in like 2 days.
Yeah, bro. It's
Right.
mad.
So
It's mad.
anyways, game came out, raving success, everyone loved it. 2 months later, which was last week
Last week,
itself,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
The big news came out.
Yeah.
Sony has announced that the future of Helldivers means that you need to have a PSN account,
Yeah.
right?
And it doesn't, just by that statement alone, it doesn't sound very game breaking. It doesn't sound very experience breaking.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to consider the over 170 countries that don't have access to
Yeah,
PSN.
which is until the news came out and there were like 177 countries that has no access to PSN.
Yeah.
Right? And then everyone came out with their pitchforks and their torches and
Yeah.
be like, what the fuck is
yeah,
going
no,
on?
they
right?
rallied up, bro.
Right? Dude, the whole community
rallied up.
And then
The same way they rallied up to free those planets or whatever.
exactly.
It's the same
Because
way they rallied up.
There are a couple of comments that I saw on YouTube and also Reddit itself.
Yeah.
It's like for the past 2 months,
Yeah.
the game has been training us to work together.
for this
Yeah,
particular
for-
situation.
Yeah, it's like,
This is what we were all created for.
right.
This is the real major order.
Imagine 2 months you've been programmed, right, to be like, we have to work together to conquer and liberate worlds. And now
Man.
the big daddy planet, which is Arrowhead, is being flamed over
Yeah.
because PSN,
Yeah.
right? Sony came out, you need to have PSN, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And bro, over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, Friday it started, everyone came out with their torches and
Yeah.
pitchforks. Saturday, the reviews on Steam went from
It tanked.
very positive, mixed, negative, overwhelmingly negative,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
Sunday it
They
got
were,
worse.
everyone was review spamming as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was to the point I feel like the players or the player base itself have put Sony in this very awkward predicament where they're like, they have their tails in between their legs and they're like,
Yeah.
shit, what do we do now, man?
Yeah.
If we proceed with
Yeah.
this, people will hate us,
Yeah.
which they already do. And I feel like one of the biggest reasons why people came out and they're so angry is not only the PSN thing, but the reason of why they require players to have PSN. And they quoted security. In order for us, I'm just paraphrasing here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm loosely paraphrasing because I don't have to quote here. Basically, what they said was, we require you to be on PSN because we care for your safety or something along the lines of that. And bro, it was like oil to fire,
Yeah.
man. And everyone came out and was like,
It didn't have the effect they thought it would,
yeah,
because I think they wanted to come off as like, we care about you.
Yeah.
That's why we need the PSN thing. Like, we want to make sure data is secure.
which is messed up because Sony is known to kena data breaches again and again. If I'm not mistaken, it was like 3-4 times already, right?
Yeah, they're not the best with data, first of all.
So there are speculations online saying, things like the only reason why Sony is forcing players to have a PSN login is that they want to polish up their final numbers for their quarterly report or their annual report, just to show stakeholders and also shareholders we have these numbers here.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. It makes sense. Also, this is speculation also, right? But if I was Sony, I would want those numbers in my platform so that, number one, it can be valued a lot more. Number two, there could be possibility of opening up PSN to some of the 177 countries that don't allow for PSN.
Yeah.
By the use of leverage, right? Like,
Perhaps,
I have these numbers, like, why are you guys not a part of this?
Oh yeah,
So
also on a side note, RIP to our Vietnamese Helldivers brothers. Because one day after the whole, one day after Sony came out with like, okay, we're not going to proceed with PSN anymore. The government of Vietnam came out and it's like, okay, we're banning Steam. So RIP to our Vietnamese.
They're banning
Steam as a whole, yeah.
Steam as a whole?
Yeah, Steam as a whole. I don't know
Is
the
there
reason
no
here.
uproar in Vietnam because of this?
Like, I don't know.
There has to be, right? Like,
I don't know, man.
Bro, if I wake up tomorrow and we've banned Steam,
like Malaysia's government banned Steam.
Yes.
Bro, I'll go on an uproar.
Bro.
Dude, people will take to the streets, man. It's either that or we'll all turn into PUBG.
4.0, bro.
No, we're all just gonna turn into like PUBG or like League of Legends players on our mobile phone.
Fuck, man.
Right. Yeah, anyways,
That's
the data breaches itself is in 2011, 14, 17, and 2023.
Yeah, that's way too much.
Which is one too many.
That's way too many.
Right. So that's that. The review bomb came in and everyone was pissed off. Sony came in and then they were like, okay, we're not going to proceed with this anymore. So right now, players are happy again, and the CEO of Arrowhead came out and kind of teased the idea of putting the Steam review as a cape, and that's a sick ass cape, man. That's a very
okay. Wait,
cape.
so this is when the news came out,
Yeah,
and then this is after they ended it.
Yeah,
and then
altogether it took like 4 days.
That is a sick ass cape, bro.
That's a sick cape, man.
That is a sick cape.
So,
I mean, if they could find a way, well, they would. I guess they'd want that for everyone, lah. But can you imagine if like that cape was only available to people who were actively involved in voicing out, and only like you had it, like only a select few people had it. So whenever they play with other people, then other people get to see like, oh, this guy helped the game stay alive.
I mean, how can you do that? You have to track like your Steam account. I was like,
yeah, exactly.
That's
more data,
right? And that's more data, right?
But then it will probably be counterintuitive because they want you lose the sense of togetherness then, right? Because like kind of everybody was kind of, whether they voiced it or not, everybody felt the same way. So I guess everybody had that cape. Yeah. That'd be a pretty cool freaking cape to have.
On the plus side of this whole shebang, right? Steam really played its part when it came to actually supporting players itself. Because there are players with like hundreds of hours in the game and they wanted the refund to protest the entire thing itself.
Yeah, of
And-
course.
and
Jeff and
Steam
Sam
was like,
wanted
yeah,
to protest as well.
right? And Steam was nice enough to be like, okay, because Sony has infringed on the terms of service of the game itself,
yeah.
they allow players to really refund the game, which I believe also hurts Sony and Arrowhead further.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a, I guess to some extent it's a risk that they have to take, right? For making the wrong decision, there has to be some offset. So I guess they have to offset it with stuff like that.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to highlight here is like the community manager for Helldivers really played his part as well, because he got hated, and at the same time, a part of the community really loved him as well.
Right.
He was on Discord adding fuel to the fire, telling people to just refund and review bomb the game. And I just found out yesterday that he wasn't hired by Arrowhead. He was hired by Sony, bro.
Wait, so
The
wait, hold on.
community- okay,
I'm confused. Let me get this straight. Okay. Let me repeat what it is that I heard and
Okay.
understand.
Okay.
There was a community manager for Helldivers 2 that were encouraging people to review bomb.
Yes.
But it turns out,
And also refund.
and also refund.
Yeah.
But it turns out that he was not an Arrowhead employee.
Nope.
He was a Sony employee.
Yes.
Okay, is there speculation that Sony set it up?
No.
Or he's just a Sony
No.
employee?
He is just a man of the people. All right.
Right. Probably
Rallying-
mistreated in
yeah.
Sony.
Rallying the people, rallying the masses, telling people to just review bomb and also refund,
Wow,
because that's
that
how
is
you truly hurt
intense.
a company.
That
Right?
is intense.
It says here in the script. Oh yeah, by the way, Dixon, thank you for the script.
Yeah, thanks,
really
Dixon.
Appreciate it.
This is great work, man.
All right. Yeah, it says here that one ignorant community manager who chastised players regarding the PSN linking requirement only to overcompensate when making an apology and supported the review bombing of their own game, leading to his own involuntary
he got
removal from the
fired.
position, fired.
Okay, so he chastised players
Mm-hmm.
because they were against PSN linking,
Yes.
and then apologized
Yes.
and supported the review bombing,
Yes.
which then led to him being fired.
Yeah, that's a whole mini episode there itself.
Bro.
But we as a community, we as the Helldivers community, gotten what we wanted.
Yeah.
Everyone was happy.
Yeah.
Now, what's next, right, Fig? People are afraid of PSN exclusive games coming to PC now, because
This has set a precedence.
it has set a precedence. What happens to future games? Like you asked in the group chat, right? Did Spider-Man require a PSN link?
Yeah.
Or will future games that are PlayStation exclusive coming to the PC requires players to actually have a PSN account?
Yeah, because we've had some really, really great Sony exclusives,
Mm.
right? We've had like all the Spider-Mans.
Yep.
We've had God
all,
of War.
all the Spider-Mans.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have all the Spider-Mans.
Okay. Which is
We
like
had-
2 games.
Yeah, 3. The first one, second one, and then Miles Morales. And then we had God of War,
Mm-hmm.
the reboot, right? The first one and then the second one.
Yeah.
Those are really great.
And then we have
Sony exclusives, man.
What's that game called? The
Explain it to
post-apocalyptic
me.
one.
Death Stranding.
That's one. The other one, oh man, Journey to the West or something like that.
Describe it to me. Maybe I know it.
It's a girl, post-apocalyptic, robot animals.
Oh.
See?
Damn.
See?
Hold on, bro. If you found it, don't say it. Just give me a few
Yeah,
seconds.
it's a girl. There's like robot
Oh my
animals.
god, I know what you're talking about. She uses a bow.
Yeah, I found a name. I mean, like you can. See.
Uh,
Oh wait, no, you can't see it on screen.
bro, what the frick is it called?
Just
I feel like it's there.
yeah.
It's there.
Okay, there's a 0 in the name.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, there you go.
Fuck.
There's the game. Oh, that's the game.
Yeah. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
I knew it
Horizon.
started with an H.
And then there's the
Like,
Last
I was like
of Us.
Hawk. And then there's what? Last of Us, yeah.
Yeah, Last of Us. And there's
Last of
so
Us
many.
was a great game though.
Because of this, me personally, I've been looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima for the longest time. I don't
Mm.
own a PlayStation, right?
Mm.
I really don't
Yeah,
own
neither
a
do I.
PlayStation.
Not
But
anymore.
I've seen the videos, the reviews, the pictures taken in the
Yeah.
photo mode for Ghost of Tsushima, and I
Yeah.
believe
Kelvin,
playing it on
Kevin was playing it as
yeah,
well.
right.
Yeah.
And I believe if you're playing this on the PC, it will further enhance the beauty of the game.
I don't know, not with the 1070 Ti that I have,
I mean, yeah,
but
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Moving on to the next news, we have Microsoft, Xbox, Axing, acquired studios. So moving on to the next news, we have Xbox, Axing, acquired studio. And we
Yeah.
all know for a while now that Xbox has been acquiring a lot of studios. You know, the main one being Bethesda themselves.
Yeah.
Um,
That was probably the biggest acquisition of the last 5 years, probably.
definitely one of the
Yeah.
biggest. But they have also went out, you know, to bought studios like Arcane Austin, Alpha Dog, Tango Gameworks, Roundhouse Games that created amazing games like Prey, Dishonored,
Yeah.
Hi-Fi Rush, Doom, and so
Deathloop.
much more.
Don't
Right?
forget Deathloop.
Yeah. Deathloop is there as well. And then let's not forget Redfall, the fantastic vampire game that no one saw coming. There was no marketing. It was red, okay? It came out the factory red. It was terrible, right? But like all video game studios out there, unfortunately, the industry of it has been seeing a bit of a downturn where people are just game developers are just being fired, artists, everyone who works on amazing games. And this time around, Alpha Dog came out, and Tango Gameworks came out last week or this week, and say that unfortunately the studio is being closed. They have no say in it. Microsoft just came out and was like, okay, we're good, you know. And Tango Gameworks is the developer that came out with games like Ghostwire Tokyo, Hi-Fi Rush, The Evil Within, which all have their own little camp of fans.
Yeah.
Right. People love the game. It's not the best game ever.
They've got like a cult following.
They definitely have cult following. It's not the best game out there, but it's not bad games as well.
Yeah. So how do you feel about all this? About the axing of these
when
studios?
I saw the news, it reminds me of how big streaming services like Netflix and Amazon and also HBO cutting shows after season 1.
Right.
That's exactly how I feel about it, because these are relatively new studios, new developers, right? They're not the biggest out there compared to like Bethesda or like Rockstar or even EA, for example, right? Or even Ubisoft. To that respect, they created a game that they were passionate about, right? But I feel like maybe the sales did not justify the investments.
Right.
Maybe they created something that only spoke to like a very small amount of player base, not like Helldivers, for example.
Yeah.
It came out and people who don't even like the genre bought the game because of like FOMO.
Yeah.
Right.
What if, and this is just speculation, right? But what if there's a more devious plot at play?
Okay, what's the devious plot here?
Big companies, right? Like Microsoft, like Apple. Part of the growth strategy is to acquire different companies, and what you're essentially doing is you're acquiring the competition, especially if it's a space you want to go into. Like Microsoft, before acquiring gaming studios, they weren't in the gaming space. They had a platform that provided for a thriving gaming landscape, but Microsoft itself was not in the gaming space. So in order to be in the gaming space, they need to acquire different studios that have the resources and the assets they need. So by acquiring different studios, they essentially acquire the competition and wiping out the landscape of other competition, so that when they enter the market, it's Microsoft's studios with the assets of everything that they've acquired. So, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it's pretty standard like corporate stuff.
Yeah.
But
they're just eliminating
the competition. Yeah.
Right.
So they could just be acquiring studios and then acquiring the assets in the process, acquiring processors, IP, and then at that point, once they've infused all the assets into Microsoft, there is really no need for the studio to still exist. You get what I mean? The people will still be there, but then the people can be moved around to different things and focus on different things.
Sup, guys? It's
What's
been a
up?
while since we had like this one-on-one conversation.
This feels
and
intimate.
it definitely feels intimate.
I
Right?
feel like I'm looking right at you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm looking right at you, but you look
Yeah.
very, very small.
Yeah.
But I just want to
Put
take
on a
this.
shirt, by the way.
What's that?
Put on a shirt.
Like
Not
black.
That guy.
That guy.
That guy needs to put on a shirt.
Right, he does.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's
Also,
been a
eyes on the
while.
road if you're driving.
It's been a while since we have a conversation like this, and I just want to say we have upgraded the studio, and right now we are kind of in like this middle point where we want to take Epic Arcade to the next level. We are even thinking about changing the name of the show. We are even thinking about coming up with a new name, which a lot of people have been telling me that Two Guys One Couch is a very stupid name.
I mean, but it listen, it wasn't meant to be smart,
right?
Right.
I mean,
it doesn't have to be smart all the time.
I have said it time and again. Epic Arcade.
Time and a game. Because it's a gaming podcast.
It's a pun. I've been saying it time and again that Epic Arcade has always been an R&D podcast for us. Afiq as a host, me as a host, me as an editor for some of the contents that you see on Renegade Radio as well. But I want to stop saying that, Fik.
Yeah.
I want to stop telling people that, oh, bro, this is just an R&D podcast where I just learn stuff, right? We learn as we go.
Yeah. We want this to be like a real thing.
Yeah.
That people can value, that people can consume in a way that betters their day.
Right. I mean, as much as it's just blah blah chats at to a certain point, I want to bring in video game news.
Yeah.
I want to bring in games that we've been playing, games that we are able to review, for example, right? Games that we're looking forward to, and to a certain extent, I definitely want to do like some product reviews as well, like peripherals or like video games or whatever that is related to pop culture or video games or whatever we do here on Epic Arcade.
And on top of all that, right, I also have this vision that I want to bring things outside of the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna declare it now on the show because like if I don't declare it, like
nothing would happen.
Yeah, nothing will happen. I'm gonna start streaming again. I don't know when, but probably like sometime soon. I'm gonna start streaming again. It might be on Twitch, might be on YouTube. But the main thing that I want to put across is it's gonna be tied back to the show. Like it's gonna be a persona of me on the stream, and I'm not just representing myself, but I'm also representing Epic Arcade. Like Afiq Epic Arcade will be streaming on Twitch or YouTube, something like that. Like that's something I want to do because I feel like it's something that I miss doing. I used to stream a lot.
Yeah.
Back in the pandemic,
you are entertaining.
like the MCO.
You are entertaining. I'm going to tell you that first.
Right.
You are entertaining.
Yeah, I just have to figure out how to maintain my energy throughout the stream.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's okay. So to be fair, it's easier when you have like 100 people in chat that's talking to you. But when you have like 2-3 people in chat, right, it gets a bit difficult to maintain the energy unless you have unless they're friends.
It just feels like in the end of the day, it's like you playing game and then people are just like eavesdropping or just like peeking right behind the curtain. It's like, what is he doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then again, I really enjoy streaming on Discord for you guys to watch.
Yeah.
I just have to take what I feel and what my thought process is when I'm streaming to you guys out to like Twitch. It's because it's the same thing, right? Like people on Discord who are my friends, I can just shift my paradigm so that whoever who lands on my Twitch stream, they're another friend.
Yeah.
And I'm just showing them what the hell's going on in my game. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a cool way to look at it. So I really want to go back into that. I feel like it's a good thing to do for me.
And since you're declaring it, I'm just gonna declare it to the universe out there that I want to review more games because Hades 2 just came out on Steam for early access.
Yeah.
It's not the complete game. And looking at the history of Hades 1 when it first came out, it took about 1.5 years for them to went from early access to like the full game itself.
1.5 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And the full game, fake. I played so many bloody hours on my Switch, and I couldn't shut up about it, right? Because it's a dungeon crawler. It's
you and Hades are inseparable.
Right? I loved it. And Hades 2 came out, and I'm refraining from watching any and all content because I want to play it firsthand, and I want to review it in my own words.
Right.
70 something ringgit now on Steam.
Mm.
My question is, should I review the early access and then do another review later on when it's out, or should I just wait?
So that's the conundrum that you're in right now.
Yeah, because I really want to start reviewing games. Manalots, I wanted to review that. Hades 2, if possible, I want to review it. There's a new, I wouldn't call it a new mobile game that I've been playing. It's a very, very old game called, oh my god, I don't know the name. Kingdom Rush. It's a game.
I've heard that.
It's
before.
a game where I used to play on my very, very old iPad 1 or iPad 2.
Mm.
It's free now because it's so old, but I've been having so much fun on it. I want to talk about a bit of mobile games as well because you know we are sometimes on the go and I can't focus, so I can just need to like put my head down and play games like Marvel Snap or like the waifu game Nikki, for example.
Like doing business courses and all that.
Sure, man. Right? That's what I want to do. I want to do more game reviews, and I want to bring in more people to kind of like review stuff with us as well.
I feel like there's also an opportunity for you to take things out of the podcast. Like what would be pretty cool if you did like early reviews of games.
Yeah.
And then like these are like Manalords, right? Like it's in early access. And then you do like a full review when
once it's out.
Yeah, once it's out. And then it doesn't even have to be like a full production review video on Instagram. It can just be like, you can even use the Loom recording app and have like a round icon of you and then like a game footage, and then you just talking about like, oh, how do you feel about the game, what's going on, this is what you did, like, and it like a minute 30 seconds.
Because
I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
The idea behind that is like it's gonna be called a segment called "Is It Worth It?"
Yeah, cool.
Right, because it's an early access game, and usually early access games are like 50-50. You either get a very, very amazing early access product like Mandalots, for example, or you get a really shitty one, and then at the end of the day, the developer just like pack up and chow.
Yeah, well, like, Helldivers 2 is early access.
Technically, yes, right. So, it's an idea that I've been playing with, and I really want to get into it.
Let's do it, man.
Because it can fill up the content for Epic Arcade both on TikTok and Instagram at Epic Arcade Pod.
Yeah.
It can give me excuse to play more games, which is good. Which gives us chances to get review keys, for example.
Honestly, it's gonna make me feel like I'm gaming for a purpose.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm gaming because I want to grow this show. That's my justification. Like people say, like, you see all day I play games. I'm growing a podcast, bro.
I'm working. I'm technically working.
I'm technically working. At some point, this show is gonna pay me.
Yeah, right. At some point, not now, but at some point.
Yeah, not now.
Yeah. But
it
that's
will.
the idea. That's the idea out there, right? So yeah, that's this mid-roll segment is a bit of a long-winded one because we've been trying to explore a lot of things here.
Yeah.
You know, not only with our clients, not only with like, you know, upgrading the studio, but I feel like it's time where if we want to do this properly, Epic Arcade specifically, let's do it right, man.
Yeah. And honestly, like this platform is the best representation of what Kel and I love the most. Like games, gaming with friends, gaming alone, doesn't matter. It's just we just love it, you know. This is the platform where it really comes down to what we absolutely love.
Agreed. I 100% agree with you. But yeah, that's that, man.
Yeah. Cool. Go back to the episode. Mid-roll finish.
Okay, Fik. Going back to the next part of the news, do you know that Starfield is getting a big update?
I have heard.
Okay.
I have heard, but
after
I've
a
seen...
year plus of the game, I think almost 2 years of the game, they are finally releasing.
Yeah, I saw on the official Starfield Reddit that someone was talking about like Starfield's getting a big update, but it's not getting the attention that it wants.
Because even for this update, what they're adding in, I mean, the two biggest update on here is that they're finally adding maps to towns and also ground vehicles for you to explore planets of nothingness.
That's massive. That is massive. That might just take me back to Starfield to try out.
Just because they added maps for towns?
No, just because they have ground fucking vehicles, man.
Why?
Because I don't want to run the entire planet.
Right. But isn't the planet just empty? Like those RNG planets you land and then it just randomly spawns stuff and
Yeah,
then there's nothing for you to
it is
find.
empty. It is empty.
So-
But
so
then
in-
from
instead
one
of-
point to the other point
Okay.
that you need to go to, you don't have to traverse the time it takes to traverse the emptiness is shorter.
Right.
Because technically, combat. I've said this before. Combat is good. So when you're in combat, you forget that it's a shitty game.
Okay.
You know. So when you can get from one point of combat to the other in a shorter amount of time with ground vehicles,
Fair enough.
it
fair.
might make the game slightly more playable.
Okay.
But I foresee going back into it to try the ground vehicles, but I'll probably be bored of it by 1 week.
Imagine
I
if
get
you
bored
can
of really good
customize-
games anyways.
Yeah. Imagine
So
if you can customize the ground vehicles like you.
that's
like
what I'm
you
thinking
do.
also. Like the ships, right?
Yeah,
Like,
like the ships.
I remember the one time I was on Starfield for 3 hours just building ships. I jumped on, I built ships, and I left. I didn't go
I
anywhere
remember
else.
you were building your ships until like 3-4 in the
Yeah,
morning, and then
Because it
you
was
just
fun.
went-
It was like a shipbuilding simulator.
God damn, man. God damn.
But if it's a ground vehicle that you can craft and build,
Mhm.
yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
Okay.
I don't know if it will solve the overarching problem of the game, but it's something.
Mhm.
And the updates for towns. Okay, what is it exactly? It's
It provides.
a huge update maps for towns.
Yeah. So from the video I watched, previously Starfield had no key points for
Yeah.
towns. Like you go in, it's just like a flat map.
Yeah, you can say that.
And this time around, this update will actually bring points of interests in the map itself. So when you go into a town, for example, I mean, I've never played the game, so I'm just running on assumptions here. When you go into the town, you finally can see all the points of interest, like the trader, the vendor, and other points of interest in the game.
I see. Yeah, that does make it easier. I remember one time I was looking for a specific vendor and I had to go to IGN.com for a guide.
Oh my god!
And they had to tell me like go straight, turn left, turn right. It's behind this building and all that. And that's where you go.
That's
So-
ridiculous.
It's a QOL thing, but I'm
QOL.
wondering. Yeah, QOL, quality of life, right?
Yeah, you say QL.
KOL, no,
Yeah.
I say QL.
Okay,
Okay, this is my
okay.
pronunciation. Yeah, but I feel like I'm hoping there's more because I'm also seeing there are patches, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping there's more because whatever that's been listed down, I don't think fixes the overarching problem of the game,
Which is very fucking boring.
which is it's very
It's
fucking
just
boring.
big. It's empty.
Exactly.
It's boring, like real life.
Yeah,
Like real
Yeah.
life, right? You
exactly.
you
like
escape
the
into
emptiness of the game is the human perception of the emptiness of outer space,
Right.
which is not what anyone wants. I don't want to. I don't want to travel empty space. I don't want it IRL.
Yeah,
I
it just
want there
feels
to
like
be fucking aliens
just-
talking to me
yeah,
when I'm up there.
just based on the conversation we had on previous Starfield, for example. It just feels like you're just playing an IRL space game
Yeah,
where it's like a wander and get lost in space simulation.
exactly. It feels like a simulation,
Yeah,
and it's not dystopian. Neither is it utopian,
right. It's just
which is usually
it just is.
which is usually the two spectrums of
Yeah, yeah.
games with a futuristic setting. Like Cyberpunk is a dystopia.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at like Mass Effect is kind of like a utopia, dystopia
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I mean, one thing that Mass Effect did right was that they did not make it open space to a certain extent.
Yes, it's not
because
open world.
It's a linear.
Yes.
You follow the story. You go from quest to quest, and
Yes.
then the story was amazing. They don't tell you, it's like they don't sell you the idea of like we have millions of planets that you can
Exactly.
visit, but we didn't tell you that the planets are fucking empty, lah.
Yeah, exactly. Starfield felt like it was going to be GTA in space, but it's not.
Right.
It's a linear game that allows you the benefit of exploration, but you explore nothingness.
That sucks, man. That's just terrible.
So I hope that gets changed. I don't know how they're gonna change it. They've got so many planets. There's a lot of planets to populate.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's all the time we have for you guys this week, Fik.
Yeah, man.
Right? And as
I think we
usual,
had some good chats.
we've been your video game best friends. My name is Kelvin Tay.
And I am Afiq K.
This week itself, we talked about Helldivers, we talked about job cuts, we talked about Starfield adding patches 2 years after the game, and like how
Adding
Fallout
maps and
and
ground vehicles.
and how Fallout 4 added stuff 7 years after
Yeah.
the game release. But hey, we will take whatever we can, one grain
as
at
long
a
as the
time.
asset still makes money, bro.
Sometimes I just don't know.
Starfield
lah.
has a big player base.
It has.
Yeah. For some reason.
But I feel like all Bethesda games have a huge player base, especially
yeah.
now
But it's
with
Bethesda
Fallout.
cult.
Yeah, now especially with the Fallout shows coming out, people
Yeah.
are just slowly filtering back into the franchise for like a couple of weeks, couple of months,
Yeah,
and then they'll
yeah.
just fade away, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I am looking forward to playing more Helldivers. There is one very, very exciting news that I did not put in, which is the weapons balancing issue.
For Helldivers?
Yeah, because the CEO even came out to say, and I'm paraphrasing, it feels like whenever we added a cool gun, the patch just removed the funness out of the game or something along the lines of that.
As in the gun becomes shit?
Yeah, it becomes shit lah.
I
Because
see.
that's what's happening to the recent Devastator gun, which is the autocannon sniper rifle,
Okay.
right? The grenade launcher sniper
Yeah.
rifle as well.
I'm not
They-
up to speed with the new stuff in Helldivers.
It was fantastic. It was a great gun. You know, they patched it. It became poo
It got nerfed?
It became like a water gun, basically.
Pee-pee-poo-poo.
Yeah, it really became like pee pee poo poo.
What?
So yeah, So
The bugs just get wet.
yeah. So that's that. Again, that's all the time we have. Until next time, we will catch you soon.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Peace.